Hey there again. It's that guy. Hope you're having a good day. I know I am. Just dropped my youngin' off with his mom at their family's house, which is like an hour and 45-minute drive. Horrible long drive, but same time, it's a nice peaceful ride back. I really enjoy my vehicle time. It's kind of my headspace where I get to do all my thinking and whatever else I want to do. Sing, talk into the phone, or make YouTube videos. I figure I'll try to make use of this time and help someone else and keep on helping myself. But I'll dig into my history a little bit, just a touch. A lot of it's, I'm embarrassed of. A lot of it's just the things that come along with addiction. If you're going to do drugs, you're going to have drugs on you. If you get pulled over, you get caught with them. After a couple of times, at least in my county, they put your ass in prison. Yeah. Send you to prison for being addicted to a drug. Don't have to sell them, don't have to do anything wrong per se, but you can end up in prison for a year or more for just having a drug on you. Really sucks. That should not happen. I never even got any help. They just put me right into prison. Like that's going to solve the problem. If I wanted to, I could have got drugs every day in prison. Now I didn't want to. I heard horror stories, and then I seen horror stories of what drugs do to you in prison. And it's much worse on yourself anyways in prison if you're on drugs, because it's so expensive and there ain't no protection in there if you owe the guy. Let me tell you, it can get really ugly. I seen a guy get life flighted out of there because he owed some Twinkies or whatever it was he owed some potato chips to pay his debt, and since he didn't have it, they smashed his head in. That's pretty bad, pretty sad to get your life ended over some potato chips and what was with drugs, all because of drugs. But anyways, let's hope no one ever has to go through that. I hope I never have to go through that again. I won't say never, because, hey, it just takes one time to go relapse and get caught with drugs on you, and whoop, right back to prison. It's that simple. And I will be damned if that's going to happen to me again. I hope it never does. I'm going to try my hardest to make sure that does not happen. But anyways, I first got onto drugs from having a surgery. I was happily married. I adopted my first son. Having a good life. Dog, truck, rented a nice house, pretty wife, but had a surgery for acid reflux. The doctor knew my wife because she worked at the hospital. He was very, very loose with his prescription pad, and before you know it, I let some preacher's son talked me into snorting Percocet 10. Yeah, it felt horrible the first time, but at the same time, it was great. Before that, I hated pills. Never even knew you could sell them until that preacher's kid wanted to buy them, and I couldn't believe that he was willing to give me, $5 to $10 for one pill. Like, holy crap, I got like 60 of these things. Sell away. I'm not even thinking that it's illegal. It never even crossed my mind, really. At first, anyways. But, yeah, so I got addicted to pain pills from a surgery. I had a hard time hiding them from my wife and son. If she would have found out, we would have got divorced a lot sooner. Because she wasn't about that. No, I mean, really, neither was I. But I got turned into that. And then from then on, it was my decision. I made the choice to do it. And before I knew it, when I didn't have them, I was sick. I got sicker than crap. Like the worst flu ever. I couldn't believe it. All you had to do is, take a pill or snort it or whatever, and that sickness went away. So before I knew it, I had to have these things. It's not that I wanted them, but after a while, unless you had a whole bunch, you weren't getting high. I just didn't want to be sick. So I let that be my excuse for a long time. I didn't want to be sick. It felt good. That's why I did it. A lot of times it was good I didn't want to be sick. But if I could have, I would have got more to where I could have got high. But as long as I wasn't sick, I was okay, with that. But to be sick, I wouldn't go to work. Dope sick. Had to run around town forever until I could find what I needed to not be sick. I got so sick of doing that. So sick of running around to find what I needed to feel okay to go to work. Well, soon that wasn't an issue, because seeing how I would call off work and this and that, well, eventually work got tired of it, and, well, see you later, bud. We don't need you here anymore because you ain't here anyways. So that sucked. But luckily, I learned how to make more money, which was what the preacher's kid told me and showed me. Sell pills. I turned this into a game and was pretty good at it. And to be honest with you, it was fun. Me and a buddy would ride around, get high, sell pills, buy pills. It was, for what it was fun. But I didn't realize that I was ruining my marriage. I was neglecting my son. I mean, there was so much bad that came out of that I didn't even pick up on. Didn't realize, had no clue that I was doing. I thought that I was making money to make sure that, we had a roof over our head and food in our bellies, and was oblivious to all the harm that I was doing. It really sucks, but you can't change the past. You can change the future because it ain't happened yet. So every decision that I make today will then, make sure what tomorrow can bring. You never know what's going to happen, you know, from other people, other outside forces, but you can control what you do and what you bring to this world and what you contribute. So anyhow, I get lost in the sauce, my own sauce, but yeah, I got addicted to pain pills. Eventually, all the pill mills and all that, they got raided, and before you know it, it was hard to get pills, and couldn't get them. You know, dope sick. Ended up snorting heroin. Didn't want to. Thought it was the devil. Soon I learned it was cheaper and better. So had to stint with that. Got in trouble. Did some more time. You know, I wasn't a bad person. I had an addiction. You know, I was really bad at hiding it from the cops, at least. I was pretty good at hiding it from my loved ones. But anywho, there's a whole lot of drug use. I've seen people get shot. I've almost been killed a few times in bad parts of the city. You know, taking my dealer to places that I should not be going. Man, there's been some scary times in my life that I never want to go through again. And I put myself there. And never again, man. But I've seen a lot of sad things, and most of it all comes from drug use, people using drugs, you know, neglecting their kids, and just insane things, man. Mind-blowing stuff. I don't want that for me or for you, for anybody. The things that you can do to make sure that you stay sober is, first of all, you have to want to stay sober. Like, if you don't want to be clean, if you don't want a better life, you won't. Like, that's number one thing. You have to want this, because it's hard. It's one of the harder things you'll go through in life. But if you don't want it, it's pretty much impossible. Because if your mind wants something, it's going to get it. Like, you're pretty crafty. We're all real crafty when we want something or think we need something. We can get it, one way or another. So, you have to want it. And if you want it, you can find help if you look hard enough. You can find help or ways to stay sober. You gotta cut ties with 99% of anybody that you used with, or know that they used, or anything like that. Like, you have to totally change your life. You know, before you used, you had a life. There was things that you did to keep yourself busy and whatnot. Like, think of the things that you used to be interested in, because you know, you've been into the drug world and whatnot so long, that's all become natural to you. You have to get back to what you used to know and enjoy. And when you do that, you know, you can keep yourself busy. enough to where you're not thinking about getting high. And man, people know I'm trying to shoot a video here. But anyways, there's all kinds of ways to that they tell you that will keep you sober, this and that. Go to meetings, NA meetings, AA meetings. That helps some people. For me, I mean, I've gone to them plenty of times. Here and there, I'll get something out of them, but for the most part, it puts me around people that I'm trying to stay away from. I'm going to end this one here because they're blowing me up. Come back to my next video if you would, if you want to stay sober. I suggest it's a good idea, and I'll be here to help. Don't forget, got my number at the bottom. If you need help, give me a call. I care. Alright, thanks for viewing. Come back, check my next one. See ya.